This past week, I was invited to the Press Publish event in New York. This was a great example of the diversity of the creators that exist today in the creator economy. It's no longer between Ryan Trahans and Mr. Beasts of the world. There's so many different variations in the type of creators that exist. And in today's video, I want to explore 4 different frameworks that can help you decide the kind of creator you want to be and the kind of creator brand you want to build around yourself. Individual creator. We don't have to spend too much time here. This is the general description of the majority of the creators out there. You ideate, write, record, edit, and produce the content all on your own. Expansion in this framework comes from hiring additional part-time employees like editors or thumbnail designers. And now it gets just a bit more complex from here. Creator groups. These are the creators who operate independently but belong to a group of creators who meet on a regular basis to assist each other. It can be 2 or 3 creators jumping on Zoom once a week or 10 creators getting together to shoot for a weekend. Famously, Mr. Beast started YouTube at first by creating a coalition of creators around himself who sometimes spent upwards of dozens of hours in a single day talking to each other about YouTube. Expansion in this framework comes from inviting other creators with complementary skills or someone else who's way ahead of your group on a few metrics so they could teach you and the rest of the clan something new to improve the quality of the content that you all produce within that coalition. Within this framework, you don't necessarily get any kind of operational efficiencies. I would argue actually the opposite. You have to spend more time helping others, but the level of ideation and the quality of learning and the speed of learning increases the times of number of members you have in the group. So all of this can benefit you in long term, especially if your operational side of things is not as complex and doesn't yet require as much attention, so you can pour all of that energy into ideation and the creation of the best content possible for each individual within that group. Operational integration. In this framework, you join another creator or a group of creators and share the operational infrastructure behind your channel. Maybe you all pay for a single editor or a thumbnail designer, or maybe you all leverage and share the same agent or a manager or both, and that team represents you as a single bundle. There are a few benefits to this, like saving on hiring a single editor for each individual channel, or even charging higher ad rates because of the combination of the creators you join provides the best market coverage for a potential sponsor and would yield that higher rate. Johnny Harris, created by Harris, exactly for that reason. So there are great examples already out there of creators who offer their operational infrastructure to help young creators and help them benefit from both the business and the creative side of that infrastructure. The expansion for this framework comes from adding more to that centralized pool of operational talent and potentially adding more creators to this group who each bring complementary audiences or can even introduce their operational infrastructure into this centralized format. Of course, there's a potential risk in there because you all now rely on a single set of talent, and if one of those, say, editors leaves, all of a sudden each and every channel that relies on that operational backbone is affected. And also, if you have some sort of drama happening between the creators within this group, it's a lot harder for you to go back to being independent because so much of your back-end operations relies on that centralized infrastructure. Employee status. Finally, who said you even have to worry about some of these operational or creative support networks? You can be an employee of the creative brand or a company that requires an in-house help. Editors, designers, writers already do that a lot for other creators. You could do the same whether you take that employee spot in front of or behind the camera. Many creators who take over channels for others are a great example of this. Look at the Theorist Media. There was a gradual transition from MatPat to 4 creators who used to be just producers behind the camera and now are the faces and the voices of each respective Theorist brand. They're great parallels to comedians who work for years behind the scenes writing for major late night shows, gain that experience and then leverage it to go independent. You could repeat that process and make the switch or continue working for others, since there's a lot of comfort in not having to worry about how to edit or how to find that next sponsorship or make sure all this operational infrastructure works in the first place. The beauty of the current state of the creator economy is that you get to play with all of these formats, all of these frameworks like levers. You can potentially borrow some from here, some from over there, and create something that really works for you. Ultimately, it's all about not only being creative in the creative sense of things, but also being creative in how you approach structuring and ensuring a very stable and sustainable creative brand that you're building around your personal name. And yes, in some cases it means that you are fully independent and you have to fully rely on yourself in managing those operations, but in some cases it may mean that you are dependent on someone else, but you don't have the same level of headaches when you're fully independent. So play around with all of these formats, think about what really works for your vision when it comes to your personal creator brand, and ask any questions or comments in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope these frameworks were useful. Let me know if you would like to see other similar frameworks or deeper dives on one of these four, and I'll see you next Saturday.